All right, let's say hello now to a man who made some unexpected slash very surprising news over the weekend. You may recognize this man. His name is Jimmy Flick. He was one of the top contenders in the UFC's flyweight division, had an amazing submission, a flying triangle submission just a few months ago. In fact, Daniel Cormier said it was his favorite submission of 2020. Former LFA flyweight champion, an alum of the Dana White Contender Series program. But this past weekend at a freestyle cage fighting show, he announced his retirement. He was in Oklahoma. There was a show there. Walked into the middle of the cage mid-show and announced to the world that 30 years young, he is walking away from the sport of mixed martial arts. This is something that we've seen a few times over the years with some UFC fighters here and there for various reasons, but it's a story that obviously caught many people's eyes. And I wanted to talk to him about this announcement and where he goes from here. So first off, Jimmy, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, thank you. I really appreciate you bringing me on and helping me tell my story.
Okay, so let us start with the announcement. Why did you make this announcement? You're 30 years old. You're scheduled to fight May 8th. I was looking at your Twitter as recently as March 29th. You were still talking about your upcoming fight against Francisco Figueiredo. Why did you on Saturday decide to retire from MMA?
It's been a long journey in the sport of mixed martial arts. And when I got started in the sport, I got started with my father. My father was a big part of this. My father was a big motivation. My father made everything happen for me. He helped me set my goals. I knew what my goals were. And my father had an amazing work ethic. And that's where I got my work ethic. And I can't thank him enough for everything he's ever done for me. But I lived a very tough life. At a very young age, we didn't have water. We didn't have electric. Our house ran off of a generator. I had a tub full of cold water. To make it warm, I had to boil water in the microwave and go and get multiple buckets to try to fill up just to have a warm bath because we were tired of cold showers. But that motivated me to be the man I am. That motivated me to push, to have goals, to do things in life, to become somebody. The last couple of weeks, I haven't had the motivation to train. I've been trying, like you said, posting about fighting the champ's brother, the 125-pound champ's brother of the UFC. The UFC gave me that opportunity only on my second fight. I go and beat this guy, and my career goes to the next level. It makes a story for me to fight his brother if I continue to win in the UFC. I have a possibility to make more money, go farther than I ever thought I could have ever went in life. On the Tuesday Night Contender, I told my story. A lot of people, some haven't seen it, some haven't. It had a lot to do with my dad. It had a lot to do with my brother. And I told them, I never thought I'd make that walk without them. And I was there at the Tuesday Night Contender making that walk, but I let it be told that I wanted them to be in my life. I want them to change their life to be in my life. I want them to reach out to me. I want them to want to be there. I was hoping that it would change their life, especially if I won that contract. And we did. We won that contract. And then we got the opportunity to fight in the UFC. And we won that UFC fight. But after I won that UFC fight, I never heard from my father. I never heard from my brother. I heard from very little family that's made me drive to become who I am. And it hit me in the heart, and it started making me think what I really want in life. I have a beautiful 9-year-old daughter. I have a beautiful 4-year-old daughter. I have a wife that I've been married to for 9 years. Not one time has she asked me to stop. Not one time has she told me to do different things in life. And not one time has she told me, like, I got goals too. Can I go after my goals? And it has just all started hitting me. And then on Easter weekend, I seen my father. And I have this big fight coming up. And I have everything happening for me. And my dad tells me he's proud of me. Everything a kid works for in life is to hear their dad say they're proud of them. But my dad should have told me he was proud of me a long, long time ago. When I got a job, I kept pursuing my career. I took care of my family. I have land. I have a house. I'm everything that I should be and more. And I never gave up on my goal of fighting. And I wanted my dad back, and I wanted him to be there. And after winning the UFC fight, and the most that they cared about was like, how much money did you really make? What are you going to do with that money? Like what? The money don't matter, y'all. Forget the money, you know? Like, nobody asked about my health. I turned around and cut weight again 2 weeks later. I was 148 pounds 2 days after making 125 when they told us Cody had pink eye. But that didn't change my desire, didn't change my mental state. I wanted to make that UFC walk, and I wanted to win my UFC fight, and I did all that. I also wanted to win my dad back, and I still haven't. And I found out that's why I was fighting. I was fighting for all the wrong reasons, and my girls are suffering and my wife are suffering. And it goes to show people, everybody keeps saying, well, what about all this money you can win, Jim? Well, money doesn't buy happiness. And that's not why I got into this. I didn't get in this for the money. I didn't get into it for the fame. I got into it because that's what I love. My dad loved to watch me. My dad loved to be in my corner. He hasn't been in my corner in a long, long time. And the first time I ever told my dad, before everything ever happened, I said, Dad, I have the biggest fight of my career coming up. I'm fighting Levi Miles on the last Legacy Fighting Championship, LFC 63. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So I need a black belt in my corner, and I need my other two coaches. And Dad, can I buy you and Mom tickets to have you at my fight? And they said, yeah, that'll work. It'll be all right. But I knew I broke my dad's heart. And it killed me. And I didn't want to do that to him, but I was also trying to pursue the goals we wanted. But then when I told him he couldn't be in my corner, it changed our lives forever. It changed the way he looked at me. Ever since he doesn't care to see my grandkids or his grandkids. He has other grandkids. He sees them all the time. I still talk to my mom. My mom comes out, watches my kids for me. My dad never comes. Never. And when I seen him on Easter and we talked, that's how I found out I was fighting for all the wrong reasons. And I wasn't going to fight no more. I'm going to fight for my family. I'm going to fight for my girls. I'm going to fight for my wife. And I'm going to fight to be happy in life. And ever since I've made my announcement, I've been so happy. My girls have been happy. My wife's been happy. I cry about it, but I cry because of the situation, because of the way I'm ending my career and the way I'm going out, but I'm going out on top. And my book, I hope it sells. I hope people want to read it, and I hope it changes lives. I want to be a motivational speaker. Last week, I went and talked with kids that was at a football camp, and it was just great. And the kids came up and talked to me. I told them, you set goals in life, and when you achieve those goals, you can make new goals. And sometimes those goals might be in something different. It's okay to have new goals in something different. They don't always have to be the same thing. I achieved my goals in MMA. Now I have other goals that I want to achieve, and those are the goals that I'm going to chase. And I just want to spend time with my family, and I'm not going to lose that.
When your dad said that he was proud of you just a couple of weeks ago during Easter, did you feel like, okay, I got this and now I can move on? Or did you feel like maybe, he'll come corner me on May 8th? Like, why was that the tipping point to announce your retirement?
It was hard to explain, because when he first told me, I was happy. It was like, that's what I've always wanted. But after he said he was proud of me, there was nothing after. There was no follow-up. There was no, can I get back into your life? I mean, your kids are great. Like, what else do you want in life now, Steven? Like, I want to be there more for you. Nothing. And I say Steven. A lot of people don't. That's my middle name. And
Okay.
that's what I went by growing up. And that's what my dad and them call me. That night I went home, I went to bed, and I had one of the weirdest dreams of my life. And when I woke up, there was just something on my heart, and I didn't know what it was. And as I thought about it, I pushed myself to go to gym. And I went to gym that morning at CrossFit Sand Springs, and I was putting the work in, but I wouldn't push myself. I couldn't find out. And I just started breaking down why I'm working out. And after I got out of there and I left the gym, I just called my wife and I started breaking down. I started telling her about everything. And she's like, "Where's this coming from?" And it was so hard to explain. But when I got it out and I found out, I was fighting for my dad's love. I was fighting for my dad to be back in my corner. And he didn't ask to be there no more. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't show it. And I feel like him saying that he was proud of me was just something that he feels he was meant to say, but he's really not proud of me because I didn't do it with him. He wasn't there the whole way, but it's not my fault. And he doesn't see that. And I don't even know if my dad will talk to me anymore after this. It can only go two ways. He's going to hate me more, or he's really going to open up and change his life. And we will be together and have that relationship again. I'm scared of which way it's going to go. And I think I was scared if I keep fighting and I keep pushing myself to the level that I know I'm going to push myself to win that UFC gold, I'm going to push my wife away. I'm going to push my kids away. And it's really all for money. And money's not going to buy my happiness. Money, I guess, is everything that everybody thinks they want until you can actually get it. And you see what it really does to people. And that's why I never fought for money and I never fought for fame. And that's why I'm telling my story and I'm telling people I was fighting for my father. And that day just changed everything. That Sunday changed everything. I didn't know why the want wasn't there no more. I didn't even know why I was striving to push so hard, so much, miss so much time with my family until I had that conversation with my dad. And like you said, still to this day, since then, it's been over a week. I called him. I've let it be known. And my dad still haven't called me. And I don't, it scares me of what he thinks and what he's going to do or what his thought of me is for saying this. But I never deserved to go through what I went through in life either. So who are you to make me keep everything bottled up and not let the world know what I lived through, what I made it through, that I accomplished my goals? And Michael Bisping and them brought me up on their interview and said, you know, if it's not about money, maybe Jimmy has a few letters after his name. That's meaning like a PhD or something like that. I don't even have a GED, guys. I don't have a diploma. I have a work ethic, a hard work ethic. And that's what always pushed me. And that's what always strived me to do something. And I accomplished my goals while having a full-time job. I still have that job. People told me I went in a good job. I make over $40,000 a year for my job. For some people, that's not a lot of money, but it gets me and my family through. And that's without my wife working. And that's without my wife going after her goals. Me and my wife have opened up her a business and it's been on hold for over a year because I keep fighting. She keeps putting her goals on hold for me. And it all just added up and added up and added up. And I figured out what I want in life. And I want my girls. I want my wife. I want my family more than I want UFC gold or money.
Do you mind if I ask, Jimmy, what is your job, your other job?
I'm a CNC operator. I started at sweeping the floors over 5 years ago in this company. and I make my way up. I used to make $11 an hour, and I've made my way up through this job. I've had a 401k. I've had benefits. They've let me off for work. They've let me off for fights. They sponsor me. They do everything for me here at my job, Tulsa Plastic Company. When we were during that pandemic, we were so busy because we make all the shields and we do everything. They
Wow.
worked around hours. They let me come in early. They let me leave early. If I needed to show up on the weekends, somebody would show up on the weekends just to open up while I could do my job. They did everything for me to help me reach my goals. And I know in the future, they're going to do everything for me to take care and provide for my family. And if I can get in the office of this company and be up there and be one of the guys at the top of the office, that's a goal I have here locally for something. People told me I couldn't accomplish that without a GED, without a diploma. I've accomplished everything without that, just with my work ethic. And that's what I want to tell people. That's why I want to tell my story. I want to write my book. If I can go sell out stadiums and tell my story about my book, I would rather do that. If I could do that and tell my story, that would be amazing. That's something I want to do. I want to mentor kids, tell them you can have these goals. Like I came from nothing, from nothing. And this is just a little bit of my story. I haven't even told my full story.
Um, did your dad get you into martial arts? And if not, who did?
My dad, we started wrestling at 3 years. I started wrestling at 3. My brothers were in wrestling. My oldest brother, he wasn't really into sports, but my middle brother got into wrestling. And then that's when I was just a rowdy kid. My brothers, my sisters, they beat me up. My dad never played sports. He was a bull rider. He used to ride bulls, and he loved working on cars. He used to race cars back in the day. And he always tried to talk to me about cars. I've never liked cars. And if I do talk to my dad, the like last 6 months when I call, if my mom doesn't answer and he does answer, that's all he wants to talk about is cars. He doesn't talk to me about nothing else. He doesn't talk to me about my kids. If I try to bring them up, it's very short and he goes right back to cars. And that's what he does. He just works on cars. He's like almost 60 years old and he just works out in my grandma's garage on people's cars. He doesn't want to be there for me. He doesn't want to be there for my kids. But he put me in sports. He's the one that strived me. And like I said, when I was 17 years old, my dad knew we watched mixed martial arts. We used to go rent the movies, me and my dad. He loved Ken Shamrock, and I always loved Hoist Gracie. And we used to watch the fights, rent the DVDs, and watch them. And then The Ultimate Fighter, me and my brother loved The Ultimate Fighter. And then that's when me and my brother would start grappling at home. And then at 17, when I decided to drop out of school, I was a 5-time state runner-up as a wrestler as a kid. I have an opportunity to do way more in wrestling. But at 14 years old, 15 years old, I started smoking weed. I started drinking, partying. Oh, I could have my girlfriend over and stay a night, do whatever I wanted at 14. Started smoking cigarettes while I was wrestling. 2 weeks before my first amateur fight. My first amateur fight was April 2nd of 2009. 2 weeks before that's when I quit smoking cigarettes. We got a fight offer. I had been training jiu-jitsu for over a year, a little bit of stand-up. And when I finally got that offer to fight, I committed. I knew what I was committing my life to. And I cut cigarettes out. I cut the partying out. And I committed to it. I went 7-0 as an amateur with finishes at 6 finishes in the first round, 1 in the second round, 2 titles at 2 different weight classes. I turned pro in Bellator 20. I was 0-0. They brought me in to lose to 6-2 Humberto De Leon. And I won that fight. And I knew what I wanted to do for a living, and I've never gave up on it. But my dad gave up on me. And last Sunday, when I realized that's what I was fighting for, is what made me retire from mixed martial arts. What makes me want me to write my book, to tell my story, to let people know, because I know people go through way more than me. I mean, look at Francis Ngannou. He is a world champ. That was his goal, though. He went through so much and he accomplished it. I accomplished my goals, and I don't want to lose no more family along the way. And I'm not going to let it happen. My life is going to be good. I'm happy with what I accomplished, but I'll be even more happy when I become a great dad to my girls. And like I said, there's so much to it. And I just have to get my story out. People need to know. Like, the people on the internet are savages, and they say like some of the craziest stuff, and they feel like we deserve to be attacked for it. And it's just, it's tough. And if I made a bigger name for myself and I kept going, it's gonna get worse, and it's gonna get worse. But like I said, I made my decision because of what happened with my family, and that's what my heart was in for, was my family, my dad, and everything. And last Sunday it just changed my life, and I'm happy with it that I made the decision for my family. And everybody's already asking if you're going to come out of retirement. I don't think so. I don't see it happening. I don't see my dad changing. I don't see my dad wanting to make a difference. If it happens, amazing, awesome. I would just love to have the relationship with my dad again. And everybody's like, "Are you going to open a gym? What are you going to?" Like, no, guys, that's not what I want. I want to spend more time with my family. I'll go to work 8 to 4:30, and if I feel like training sometimes, I want to get back into jujitsu, I will. But I'm not putting my body through it. I'm not putting my family through those 6 days a week, working, training, telling them that we can't go to eat, or daddy can't go to birthday parties, or, daddy can't do this, daddy can't do that, or we got to work around daddy. And there's just so much to it, and I'm just excited to go live life.
I'm curious, when if this happened, you or your management reached out to the UFC to tell them of your decision. What was said back?
Basically, I'm still under contract. Like, they understand. Mick Maynard, he's a great guy. Everybody that knows Mick Maynard, he's also been a big supporter of mine. He might know a little bit of what we told him, and he said he understood. And when it all hit, and it hurt, and it still hurts. But what hurts the most is not having my father, and trying to do it without my father. Is I just I don't have the heart to do it anymore. And that's what motivated me and pushed me and made the difference for me.
Say your dad sees this or another interview that you've done and says, "I don't want you to retire. I want to get back to where we once were. I want to be a part of your life. I want to be a part of your career." Would you consider resuming your career, or in your heart, are you done and you just want to move on because you said you're so happy now?
I've thought about it. I've even thought about what I would do if Dana White himself called me and told me I have all the opportunities to become the next big thing. And I 100% believe I do. But I feel like with my dad giving up on me, and me having to tell my story to get my dad to want to be in my life once again, I don't know if I'd ever have the same want, the same power to push the way I did, because of the fact I know how happy my girls are, how happy my wife is since I've made this decision. Just, my girls have been waking up before I go to work, because I don't have to leave the house until 7:30 to make it to work by 8. But when I train, I'm out of the house by 5:30 in the morning every morning. So I never get to see them in the morning. And the other day when I woke up, wife was still sleeping, and my 4-year-old wakes up, comes running in there, jumps in my arms while I'm making coffee. "Daddy, can you make me some chocolate milk? Give me some cartoons?" Yeah, Daddy's gonna make you some chocolate milk and give you some cartoons. And it just made me so happy. And I miss that all the time. And that's just one small little thing that I've missed. But I do hope it makes a difference in me and my dad's relationship. Because if it does, then I can tell people. I can tell all the good fathers out there that thought about getting back in their kid's life, if it worked, if he came back to me, if he does want to be in my kid's life. But I think I've lost all heart to fight in mixed martial arts anymore.
It's very hard to walk away from something, especially, something that brings you fame and, fortune and notoriety. So I have a lot of respect for you for doing this. Like I said, you had one of the great moments of 2020, and it seemed like you had great things to come. But you speak of the chocolate milk and the cartoons in the morning. As a father, I know all about that, my friend. As a father of 3, I know all about that. Our kids are similar ages. So I have the utmost respect for you. And I know it's not easy to talk about personal things like this, about your own family members who you love. And so I have even more respect for you for doing that. And I hope that this will lead to, a better relationship with you and your family, because, we only have one life, and it's very clear that that's what you want. So I wish you the best, Jimmy. I really do. I'm sorry that we're speaking for the first time on these terms, but I can't wait to read your book. I hope you have a great career with your job, and also as a motivational speaker, because I think you can help a lot of kids who are going through similar things. And I just want to let you know that there are a lot of people pulling for you, and don't listen to those negative comments online. There are a lot of people who respect that you had the courage to do what you did and to speak up like you did. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it, man. And it's not easy at all, but it's what I want in life. It's what my kids deserve in life. And I'm just excited to see what my new journey is. And I know I can make an impact on a lot of kids' life. And people coming from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, a lot of us kids didn't think we can make it. I proved I could make it. And I'm going to prove any of these kids around here can make it. And I thank you for bringing me on. I look up to you. I've always wanted to speak with you. I didn't think it would be like this either, but it's amazing.
All the best, Jimmy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.